Just to give you a little bit about our presenter, Angela Clayton is a senior technical program manager at Microsoft, specializing in Azure Security Assurance. With over 2 decades of experience in security and quality assurance in the DoD and intelligence communities, Angela holds a dual bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and computer engineering from Florida A&M. In her role at Microsoft, Angela excels in ensuring the quality and security of Azure services, showcasing expertise in software testing, requirements gathering, and user experience. Beyond her professional achievements, Angela is a dedicated mentor and tutor, sharing her knowledge generously. An advocate for sustainable technology, Angela enjoys driving electric lawnmowers and her electric Mustang. Her love for her family is evident in the time she spends with her daughter. She's passionate about music. Angela balances her tech career with personal interests, embodying a well-rounded and inspiring individual in the field of cybersecurity. So she is not only a cybersecurity and technology dynamo, but she is a human. Aren't we so glad to have humanity? Uh, so without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to our presenter,
All
and we're
right,
going
good
to get started.
morning, everybody. Afternoon, actually, here. But I want to welcome everybody here, and I want to start talking today to you about how to build your own AI sidekick, which is actually called an agent. But you want, designing a personal AI scheduling assistant. So, let's make sure this works. Okay, there it is. All right, so today we're going to talk to you about agents. We're going to talking to you about agentic AI, explain the difference between those two and the similarities between the two. We're going to talk about, some problem solving, think like an engineer, and then we're going to do a live build your agent and some design takeaways. So, um, I'm a very interactive speaker, so if you, I do have the chat up. So if you want to ask questions at any point in time or stop me, you can definitely let me know. So what you need before we start is a Gmail account, a Google Calendar, or access to your, personal Gmail or your work Gmail, work Google Calendar. And then I also want everyone to try to go to make.com. The free account is fine, and that's what we're going to use today. If you want to go through the live portion of the demo with me, if you don't, you can just sit back and watch. So first, what is an agent? So an agent is anything that, takes inputs and performs an action. It's pretty much a robot. So that's that's how you can think about it. Or you can think about it as an intern. So an intern is somebody that you tell them what to do and they do it, but they really don't, they follow the rules. They're just getting their feet wet. So they really don't have they're not doing it on their own. They're not taking the initiative to do anything outside of what you told them and what they're going to do. So the key traits of it, it has inputs such as in this demo, we're going to do emails. So it has emails, it clicks, and you can schedule events. It has rules. So you've seen what was it? I think the app was called If This Then That. And so the rules are if this, then do that. You have that with your agent, I mean your assistants that you have around your house. I'm pretty sure, if it's 7 o'clock, turn on the lights. And then it does an action. So that action is turning on the lights. So assistant's very similar to an agent, but not necessarily. We'll talk about that at the very end. But sending an email is the action, creating a calendar event is action. Again, think about it like an intern. You tell them to do something, they follow the rules, and they get it done. And so the difference between an agent and agentic AI. So before we talked about generative AI, we've talked about that there is an agentic AI. The only thing that's different with agentic AI and an agent is that an agent uses AI reasoning. So it does things on its own. It does things that, it can interpret things that, like my mind is always all over the place. It can interpret what my mind is thinking if I just put a whole bunch of random things in there and kind of just try to do it on its own. So one of the things that I have a hard time doing is keeping my emails, consistent and keeping that email inbox clean. So one of the things that I use AI for is to make sure that it like, anything that says, that it's important or shows that it's important. So I, use filters and stuff like that. But then it actually highlights some of the things to me and sends me a text message if it's like from my family, if it's from anybody that I've deemed as important. So that's one of the ways that I personally use the agentic AI. So it can choose between actions. So again, like if you want to choose to filter out some things, it can, and it'll automatically send me those emails that I've deemed important already. So bigger way to think about it is all agentic AI systems are agents, but not all agents are agentic AI. It needs that independent portion of the system in order for it to be agentic AI. So today we're going to solve the problem of having too many emails, have too many meetings, and the pain of scheduling all of them. I don't know how many of you have gone through your email box and like you'll get something that says, oh, I got a meeting today. I have like I want you to come to this meeting on February 14th. I want you to come to this meeting on the 19th. Come to have coffee with me tomorrow. And it's just like a pain because now I have to open up my calendar. I have to put it in there. And during the pandemic, I used to say, like, if it's not on my calendar, then it doesn't happen. Now life is all over the place because I have my daughter's schedule, I have my schedule, I got the work schedule. So it's too many schedules to keep up with. So now I'm a little bit more like autonomous, like in my decision making, it's like, okay, where are we going? What times I start? So, but if I had this, then I wouldn't need it as much. But that's the one of the pains that I personally went through, which is one of the problems that we're going to try to solve today. So to get a big picture of what we're going to do, because for me, I need to see the big picture. So you're going to watch Gmail for new emails, and you're going to check and see if that email has the word invite or invitation. And you're also going to, or if it has the word date and time. And then if it does, you're going to create a Google Calendar event. So this is what it'll look like when you have downloaded Make. So I don't know if anybody's downloaded Make yet. Please be a little bit interactive because I'm going to go through this step by step with you all, and I want to make sure that you all can see it and you can do it. And you'll see some of my things are going to be a little bit different than what you're actually lined up with and what I'm going to talk about as well. So if you want to type in the chat that you've got Make or that you're just here to listen, I would appreciate that so I can see what's going on. Or not. Okay, you got it. Okay, I see people. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do, and we're going to open make.com, and you're going to create a new scenario. So I'm gonna let you all do this part. I have screenshots, but I want, make sure you all can do this part. So um, and then the next step is you're gonna, there's a big plus button in the middle of your screen. And so you're gonna click on that plus button and you're gonna go to Gmail. And so you'll see it in the top area of your screen where it says Gmail. And you're going to say watch emails. For the purposes of this demo, I used search emails, and so you can use that as well. But watch emails puts that autonomous part in there where it's like, it'll start doing it independently if you have it run like I think every 15 minutes or something like that. But for the sake of time, I used search emails. But if you want to, use it for your on your own, then, you can use watch emails. So the next thing you're going to do is, if you're doing all of that, you're going to have to add all the hooks into your Gmail account and everything. And that's fine. Give it the minimal amount of permissions because, again, start with security first. Um, but you're going to decide, you're going to teach this how to decide. So after you've downloaded Gmail, this is the Gmail thing, and it's going to add a little plus beside it where you can add another module or you can add a router or something like that. So you're going to click that plus, and then you're going to choose tools or router, which you should be able to, like, once you click that plus, you should be able to type it in there, router. And now router is going to act like a fork in the road. So it should already come, once you hit the router, it's going to have two forks. So it's going to say, it's going to ask you to add a module or a task, after the router. And please let me know if I'm going too fast or if you need me to slow down or speed up. All right. So once you have your router, like I said, it has two paths. So the first path is path A. So we talked about we wanted to see emails with invite or invitation. So you're going to click in on those like dotted lines, and I don't know if you can really see my dotted lines in this in here, but next to the picture, it has like add date and time. And so you're going to click on those dots to create your own filter. So if you right click on those dots, you should be able to see it. And then you're going to set up your filter to have um, the conditions, So you want to, like, in that condition, you'll have your email pop up, and your email will pop up and it will have either and you can find where yours is. Mine just so happened to be on step 11, but there was subject, there's like header, there's full body text, there's different things inside of your email. And so it just comes to how your email looks, but mine came out inside of the subject. And you want to look for any subjects that contain the words invite. And then you're going to add an or rule. And then you want your subject as well, any subjects that contain the word invitation. And that's your first filter. So this is the if then, if this or that. But this is a if then, if this or that inside of one filter. And then we'll add our second filter down in the next step. So if everybody has that part, or if you're having issues, let me know. All right, so the next path is path B. So again, this is the path that doesn't have, so it was still in the same line. So you're setting up your second filter. So again, you're going to right click on those lines that's coming from the router, going to, whatever else you're going to put there. But just click on those lines and you should be able to right click on there as well. And this is just the one that has your date and time. So this again, anywhere in the body where it says it matches this pattern. So this is pretty much regex expression that says like the date, the time is going to really have like, maybe one or two numbers in the front, then the colon, and then two numbers in the back. So it's just going to look like, if you have it left me to Tuesday at 3 p.m., it's going to automatically see that. And it's going to, you know, uh, convert it to 3 o'clock. Or not convert it, but it's going to read it as 3 o'clock. Is everybody following? Anybody having issues? Okay. Nothing? Okay. All right. So the next part you're going to do is you're going to have your agent think a little bit. right? So you're going to use a text parser. So next to your router where you have your lines, going to your filter, the thing you're going to add is a text parser. And so I think it says like add a module or something. And so you're going to add a module, and then that module you're going to add is a text parser. And then you're going to use the replace filter as a part of the text parser. So it should say text parser replace, and then that's what you're going to use. And you're going to same thing for both of your things but we'll go one at a time. So the first part of the text parser, it takes the text inside of the body and it replaces that, if it says 3 p.m., that's when it actually really does convert it to that 3 o'clock. And then it's, or what's that, 1500 hours. And so you're going to do the same exact thing um, for the second part. All right. So the last thing you're going to do is connect that to Google Calendar so it can create the event. And once you click Google Calendar, it's going to ask you for permissions um, to be able to access your calendar and everything. Give it minimal permissions, but give it, the permissions it needs to actually create an event and put it on your calendar. And this part took a little bit longer for me because I had to select which calendar I wanted to use because I have 15 million email accounts and calendars. And so um, give it a little time. And then the next thing you're going to do is run it. And so once you run it, if you have it set to watch emails, then if the email was already sitting in your inbox, then you're not going to be able to see it. But for me, if what I did was I sent myself an email after, so like I said, I used the search emails. And so I sent an email to myself. I ran it once, and then I sent an email to myself that said invitation lunch Friday at noon. And it automatically sent it to my calendar. And so if anybody has success with um, or has an issue, like let me know. If anybody wants to share their success, I would love to hear that too. And then I'm going to stop sharing in a second because I want to switch to my screen where I can show you mine going through. Um, and um, All right. So if you have yours going, you should have something that looks like this. So you'll have your Gmail. Like I said, I have mine searching emails because I want to make sure that you can see emails that I've recently put in there that match any of these filters. I did add a test case in here. This is just when I was testing, so I wanted to leave this here so I could show you all. But this was just sending myself an email, so it's not connected. But uh, well, I can't open it to show you what I did. But all it does is sends myself an email to test to see if my like originally when I did my router my emails weren't flowing through the text parser. So it was getting hung up, I think, on the filters. And so one of the things I did was to add this to my router, and it just sent myself an email. So I knew that it was actually going to the router because it doesn't show you that part. But if I run this once, it should pull my email. Maybe not. I'm not sure if it'll pull it or not, or if I need to send myself another email. We'll figure that out. Mm, it says it completed, so something went wrong again. But let me try to send myself an email. Um, all right, let's try again. And so I sent myself something that says invitation to lunch. So you see that it received this here, and the word invitation was found. And it went through the text parser. And it where is it? It should say invitation that you actually saw invitation to lunch, but it did create an event. So I just sent myself something that says invitation to lunch on February 10th, 2026. So it set it for 12:05 to 1:25 p.m. Because it gave me an hour worth of lunch because that's how I configured the thing. So I did start plus 1 hour when I configured this. Um, of course, it doesn't show me what I put there. Oh, I think it because I did it quickly. It puts an hour plus one to anytime you have an event or hour, sorry. So start time plus 1 hour is what it does. So hopefully that you all can test it and see what you have. Um, oh, your job has Google lockdown. Got you. I tried to get something that was free because I've created agents using Microsoft 365. I've created it using Visual Studio, but um, I was trying to get something that could everybody could use. I know a lot of people use Gmail for um, their personal use, so I was trying to make sure that people could use it for personal use and for their you know if you could use Google at work. I did have a job before that used to use Google products as well. But that's all I really have. I do have one more slide to share with you all. And it's just going back through agents and everything. I thought that this would take a lot more time. um, Thinking people would run into issues or have questions. So if you do have questions, please let me know. I'm gonna go back. Um, Screen. All right. All right, so the last slide that we have really is talking about automation, your assistants, and your agent. So automation has your fixed rules with no judgment. So those are your home assistants. Hey, I'm asking you a question, and you answer my question. Sorry, automation is the if this and that. So the automation is, it follows your rules. You told it to do something and it does it. Turn on the lights at 7. That's your home automation, maybe through Alexa or something like that. So it follows that rule. If it's 7 p.m., it turns on the light, it turns on the TV, it turns off the TV, whatever it says. But it's just following the rules. Your assistant is like your home assistants that you have at the house. So you have to use a wake up, command for it to respond. So that's the prompt that it's waiting for. But it doesn't act on its own. It doesn't just randomly give you questions, or answers to questions that you don't know. Um, and so but it says, gives you an answer to the question that you ask it, but it's not going to, read your mind and answer the question on its own, like a human would. And so the assistant, the human, the person, is the person who stays in control. And an agent is what acts independently towards the goal that you've given it. So the agent would be this. If you set it to watch your emails, that's when it would start doing a little bit of independently acting. So if you set it for every 15 minutes, it would start reading the emails that you receive in that 15 minutes and starts going to try to get to, the part where it creates the calendar event. And you can look in the logs and see where it failed. You can look and see what it did, what it detected, why it went through that rule. You saw where it said invite or invitation, and I had said invitation to lunch. It automatically figured out that the word invitation was used from that filter that we created, and then went through and actually created a calendar event. So you all can't see the calendar event. I don't want to pull up my personal calendar, especially because this is going to be saved. Um, because everybody will also have access to my email. But that's just one of the things that it does. And so we like that would be one of the things that would be acted independently. So to take this further, if you were to go further with making it more independent, what it could also do is you can use that text parser. It's not available in the free version. It's available in one of the paid versions of Make, but it's also available in pretty much almost every other paid application that you can use that's pretty similar to Make, where it has the ability to detect dates and times. So if I say lunch, if I want to do, it's an invitation to lunch, it can reply back to that person and say when. It can also in your Google Calendar, we didn't do anything to set it and the controls to set it to say who that person was that I'm going to lunch with. So right now, it's just an invitation to lunch. I didn't set it to say, that I sent myself an email so that lunch is with me. And so that's one of the things that you can do to make it a little bit more automated, or you can have it respond back, so after it's created the Google Calendar event, you can have it respond back to that person and send them an ICS message, which would send them the invitation too, so they can be a part of the invitation. Um, and that way, if either of you need to change it, when one person changes it, it changes it on the other person's calendar. Another thing that you could have the agent do to be more agentic is like what is it? Um, I forgot another thing. Oh, when the date and time. So when you have the date and time part, when you're trying to parse the date and time, you can have it go and, do the specific date and time. If I said lunch tomorrow at noon, it already knows the time zone that I'm in. It knows the time zone the other person's in. So if I'm doing noon here, but in Detroit, noon Eastern time is 11 a.m. over there, that we know the time zone difference. So it will automatically send, if I did send the ICS message to, which is the calendar invite, a Google Calendar invite to, somebody in Detroit, then they would know that I'm on the East Coast. They're Central Time, and therefore it would already know that difference and be able to still sync. So each person is not, showing up at their own noon time. Um, so can you make a train to make where decision? Yes. So if you can't make it trained to say where, but you can send back another message to someone. So the message that you would send back to that person, if there's not enough information in there, you can set rules and say, okay, there's not enough information in this email to tell me where. And so it can determine, using some other, you would have to add on additional modules, but you can have it send another email to that person. So if there's no data or no location, then you can say, send that person back an email. And then that way, like a no location is added, or you can have a preset or predefined message that it sends to people. So you couldn't see the one that I hadn't configured, but mine just said test email, or test router or something. It said test something. So, but it was something to let me know that if a test wound up, back in my email, that it was me sending it to myself. So everything works, but it didn't go through the router properly. So that was, but yes, you can probably make it not trained to where to make the where suggestions, but you can definitely send an email back to the other person. Um, yeah. And I don't have any more. I thought this was going to be a lot longer. Last time it was a lot of questions, so I was kind of struggling to get through the slides. So I made this one a lot shorter because I wanted to also make sure that everybody had time to do the hands-on piece if they were doing it. But like when you all do get back to your desk, or back to your homes, where Google is not locked down, and you have questions about anything, you get stuck anywhere, you want to troubleshoot something, I'm here, I'm available. And so I might send a calendar link if I get too many, requests, but I'm available, and I do make myself available to help out anyone as you need it. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much, Angela. If anybody has any other questions, please drop them in the chat or in the Q&A section. But if not, we will allow you guys to take maybe a screenshot, as she mentioned, get her information. Again, this will be on our website this week so that you can kind of take it slow and step by step with all the steps. And as she mentioned, you can reach out to her if you have any other deep dive questions as you go through. But we appreciate you guys for joining. Again, we thank you for adapting to our webinar format as we are committed to the safety and soundness of our community. And we hope you guys stay safe and warm in this weather. There
Yes.
may be a survey following this. Please just, give us some feedback as we try to improve the experience for you guys. So thank you. And thank you, Angela.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, I will let you guys go.